Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here, and today we're going to be discovering the differences between the SLA037 over here and the SPB149 over here. These are both the the 55th anniversary edition models. One is the lower end, being the SPB 149, and the other one is in the higher end, with a high beat movement and so on. That is the SLA037. Quick thank you to Bijou again for providing these pieces. Do go check out their website if you want to purchase anything. Also, their YouTube channel will have their more on these pieces, more on the 55th anniversary trilogy as well. All the links will be in the descriptions. Anyway, let's get down to the actual comparison here. So the SLA037 is the higher end, more true to form recreation or reissue of the 62 MAS. So this is that piece. This is more, the SPB 149 is more of a reinterpretation of the 62 MAS. So they're a little different, as you can tell. This one has been modernized slightly with a larger bezel. This has more of that vintage feel of a bezel right here. However, the bezel on the SLA037 has been upgraded to ceramic, while the SPB149, though ceramic is the more modern material, has a stainless steel bezel insert. Let's go ahead and do some dimensions really quickly. So this is around a 39.6 millimeter in diameter. Lug to lug is 47 and a half, and thickness is 15 millimeters on the dot. Lug width is 19. I don't have to measure that, but there it is. It's 19. Now let's move on to the SPB 149. Diameter here is 40 on the dot, a little over 40. Lug to lug is 47. Thickness is 13 and a half. Lug width is 20. So those are the dimensions of the two pieces. Now they do indicate how well these two wear. This is actually a whole 1.5 millimeters thicker. As you can see, quite a bit thicker. The case back protrudes quite a bit more on the SLA, and it does not wear as well, surprisingly, as the SPB 149. I'm just going to call this the SPB and this the SLA, just for future reference. So the SPB wears up quite a bit better, quite a bit closer to the wrist. It's more comfortable in my use case scenario. So my wrist is 16 centimeters or 6¼ inches in circumference. The SLA wears larger, even though the diameter is smaller. This wears a little less comfortably, and overall I do prefer the feel of the SPB. Now let's take a look at the straps here. They're both silicone, but the SLA has a more intricate pattern on it, a alternate hatching pattern, way more perforations, while the SPB here has a slightly different texture. So overall, this just feels much nicer than this pattern. The feeling of the pattern is much nicer, is what I mean to say. The case or the back of the straps, the SLA has ridges and bumps, waffle-like, while the SPB has more of a grainy pattern to aid with heat dissipation from your wrist. Another difference, of course, is the buckle. The SPB has a more conventional Seiko dive style bezel. You see this in cheaper Seikos with their straps. It's definitely substantial, a thick piece of metal, but very run-of-the-mill kind of pin buckle here. The SLA, on the other hand, has a much nicer buckle. Probably one of, if not the nicest pin buckle I have ever encountered. It's very nice. Polished. The two arms of the buckle are polished. The tip or the bar of the buckle is brushed. Extremely nice. The keepers on both are metal. And for all intents and purposes, they're about the same quality, I'd say. The keeper is about the same quality. Now, one benefit that you do get with the SPB is that it comes on a bracelet as well. So you get a bracelet and a strap, while on the SLA you only get this really nice strap. Now, this strap is really nice as well. It's far above any other silicone strap that I've personally used. Of course, this one's better. But if in a vacuum, if I were to just look at this would have been the best strap I have ever put on my wrist. Best silicone strap. So moving on, the SPB comes in 316L stainless steel. The SLA has a different concoction of steel. It's called Ever Brilliant. That's Seiko's marketing term for it. Ever Brilliant steel. At first glance, it does not look any different to the eye, at least to me. I looked at it in daylight as well. It does look different in the sense that the polishing is way nicer, and I just accounted that for the Zaratsu polishing. But the Ever Brilliant steel is more corrosion resistant than regular old 316L steel. It is supposed to resist pitting and all sorts of other corrosion, and it's supposed to be brighter. It's supposed to look more lustrous, though I can't really tell with the naked eye, at least. So if you want to compare the finishing here, we have polished side on the SLA. On the SPB, we have a brushed side with polished bevels. On the SLA, you do not have any bevels, so to speak. The top of the SPB and the SLA, they are both brushed radially. The crystals on both are domed, but the SLA seems to have a better coating of anti-reflective coating, or better application of anti-reflective coating. The crystal is a touch clearer, I think. The lume application on the SLA is better, so it's brighter even now. I'm not sure if you can catch it, but it's glowing green right now, while the SPB is still glowing kind of white. So the lume is a bit stronger on the SLA. SLA has a beautiful metal frame around the date. The SPB does not. However, it does have a punched out date cutout that has then been chamfered. This being the 4 times the cost of the SPB, you would think is expected to have much nicer finishing, much nicer detail overall. Let's take a look at that finishing once again. Okay, let's compare the bezel action. This is the SLA. And this is the SPB. So obviously the SLA is a much nicer bezel action. One thing to note, on the SPB you have some gold accents. The second sand is gold, and so is the last line of text. On the SLA you have no such thing. And one major difference between these two is the movement. The SLA has the 8L55 movement, which is a high beat movement, ticks at 10 ticks per second, much smoother sweep as you can tell. The SPB has the 6R35 movement, which beats at 6 ticks per second. So much slower, quite a bit slower than the beat rate of the SLA. The crown on the SLA is signed. The SPB is just brushed. The dial quality seems to be pretty close. The color is very similar. The quality of the dial is very similar as well. So that's a major positive on the SPB. The indices on the SLA are much more nicely polished than on the SPB. You can see those indices glimmer and glint, while on the SPB they're kind of just there. And I think that'll do it. That covers most of the differences here between the SLA037 and the SPB149. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I've had quite a bit of time with the SLA now, and the SPB as well. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Take care, stay safe. Bye.